What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you don't know, I'm Chris here on the Junior Nup channel, and I'm the one who does basically all the work. So today's video, it is going to be a little bit different. I am testing out a microphone for an upcoming project that I'll discuss about in the future, not in this episode or anything like that, but definitely in the future. So this video is also going to service a question I've asked, is where I find my Greebles, or Greebles, depending on how you pronounce it. And if you don't know what a Greebly is, it is the part of a prop or a set or anything like that. It's the little details that add layers and add story to the piece that you are producing. Like, for instance, this Star Wars inspired iPhone case. All this stuff that's on it that gives depth, that gives layer to it, is a Greebly. And Greeblies are really easy to find. They're really easy to figure out. And you just got to have an imagination. You got to have an open eye to keep everything. Like on this right here, most of this is computer parts, which you can see this is, I believe this is a RAM, and then this is some other part. And then the antenna and the vents all along it, those are from a zip tie. I put the computer parts on, put the zip ties on, cut them off, super glued them on and everything like that, and then I painted and weathered the crap out of it. So all of this is just giving the storyline before paint and everything like that. Those are your Greeblies. So a great place to find Greeblies is to look in toolboxes, because you probably have zip ties. Zip ties make an absolutely great vent for small things. You're probably not going to want to use it for bigger projects, but vents for small things. I use this also as an antenna. So that is a zip tie Greebly. The other Greeblies that you'll find fairly common is, I dropped a piece, but anyway, is in old computer parts. Like you see right here, you have a fan that you can use. You have all this different types of texture. If you don't like one side of it, you can always flip it over. There's a completely different side. All these things right here are great at adding up layers and stuff like that to your props to give more of a story and to give more use out of it. As you can see from this, I've already cut pieces off to use as Greebles in props that I've done and whatnot, but this is another great spot for more of the sci-fi area. Another good place to find this kind of stuff, for example, is packaging. You may not believe me, but this right here is just a mold of a piece of packaging for some candy that I found. This right here is just primer and resin, and it came out of one of these. So this was some candy. This held some chocolates in it, and then once I ate the chocolate in it, I was like, hey, that looks like a really cool control panel. So I put some primer in it, and then I filled them up with resin. Lo and behold, it looked like this after I was done, and when I popped them out, the primer came with it because the mold got destroyed and everything like that. This is actually another package of candy. It looked like this, and I had these ideas that I could just drill a hole in it and add a knob, and it would be like a control panel or part of a control panel. Or you can drill holes in it and add LED lights, drill some slots in it and add switches, panels, any kind of stuff like that. So another great place to find Greeblies is if you have some casting resin, you can go ahead and look through all of these kinds of packaging material to find odd shapes and ends. I know people that have used like pencil holders that making a really interesting one and all that kind of stuff. A great place to find switches, knobs, and things like that are thrift stores with old electronics or family members that you're clearing out the basement. So this part right here has got some fantastic switches on it. This is an old control board for a whole bunch of different parts for a computer. And what I mainly liked about it was these massive rocker switches right here that you can hear are clanking beautifully and everything like that. They're really rough and really hard, and because it's so old, it's basically already weathered for you. So old electronics you can normally find in places like garage sales, clearing out family members, attics and basements. Thrift stores are a great place to find those. And I haven't even taken that apart yet, so I don't even know what the internals look like, if it has some kind of circuit board in it or not, which would be great. But the main thing I wanted that for was the switches and everything, and it was going in the junk anyway. So I asked, like, hey, can I snag that? And I was told for sure. So I got that. So a lot of old electronics have those huge knobs. Old instruments, like an old guitar that's broken, you can grab the toggle switch off of that for the pickup selector. You can grab those, and all those kinds of switches you can just grab off of this stuff before it goes into the dump. And you're saving it and you're recycling it in a way. So old electronics have those great switches and knobs and everything like that. Computer parts are great for adding stuff. And the more costly option, which I am able to have thanks to the support from you guys, is 3D printing. I can model up a Greebles on Tinkercad or something like that, send it to my slicer, and then 3D print it out on the 3D printer back here. And then if you have availability of a makerspace that has a 3D printer, the thing I would tell you is don't make a bunch of copies of one thing. Make one really good print of one thing and then mold it in something like silicone so you can recast it out of resin over and over and over again, so you don't have to pay for all the material and whatnot from a makerspace. But if you have the opportunity to 3D print out some Greebles and stuff like that, and you own a 3D printer like I do, just check out the licenses of the place that you're downloading the files from, or use Tinkercad to make your own, and then just 3D print those out. And if you're tight on things and you can only use a 3D printer from a makerspace, print out one thing, mold it, and then recast it every time you want to use it. So that is today's episode for me testing out this microphone, which I really like, and also answering the question of where to find Greebles or Greebles, however you pronounce it. So I hope this was pretty educational for everyone, and I also hope that you picked up a few tips. And remember, if you are new to the channel and you want to stay updated on the things I create, I am sorry this wasn't a time-lapse video with me explaining how to paint something or build something. That this is not going to be a normal thing, so don't worry about that. We are working on a new kind of series. If it picks up, it will be a series. If not, it'll be a sporadic thing coming up soon. That's still in the works. But remember, if you like what you saw, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, share this video if you can. There's some links in the description below that always help support the channel and help me create these videos and everything like that. And remember, I'll see you in the next one.